Hello, everybody. Welcome to Heart with Sandhya. And we are here with another exciting discussion. I have a special guest on the show today. She's the lovely Muskaan Mulchandani. She's just graduated from her BMM at St. Xavier's College. And today she's here with a question that's on her mind and possibly one that could be on many of yours as well. Hi, Muskaan. Welcome to Heart.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. Shoot, tell me what's on your mind.
So, I was thinking about how a lot of us are very conscious of being judged by society and having people pleasing needs, despite knowing that no matter what we do, at the end of it, there is going to be someone or the other who's going to criticize you or raise questions. You can't make everyone happy, and we know that we should do things for ourselves, but still this constant need of being liked by everyone, being pleasing everyone, and being judged constantly, it just doesn't go away.
Okay, you're very right, but also very wise to realize that eventually we can't please everybody, and we will, there will always be people who have their opinions. Muskan, this actually comes sort of from our childhood. You're young, but I'm talking about even younger. What tends to happen for us is that when we're very young, we're just our essential selves, right? I mean, some of us are called naughty, some of us are called playful. I don't know what you were called as a kid. But very soon we start to learn that certain kind of behaviors get us certain kinds of attention or get us positive or negative. So that's like the start of our socialization, because somewhere we're also learning that, okay, our parents have a particular place in society, everybody seems to have a place. If I do this, people are happy with me. If I do that, I get a gift. If I do this, I get punished, I get sent to a corner. All of these are the basis of how we learn to fit into society, because at the end of the day we all are social animals. But what also happens with that, unfortunately, is that so much of our essential nature gets sort of tucked away. Like there's some part of us, if say you were like naughty, okay, and people kept saying, oh my God, this girl is so naughty. Muskan will realize that, okay, this is something that does not make people happy. It gets people's attention, but it doesn't necessarily get me what I want. So Muskan will soon learn to kind of regulate her behavior. But in that, you could also be tucking away a part of yourself, which this naughty Muskan could also be the creative Muskan, could also be the out of box thinker Muskan, the doer of big things Muskan, right? And that's how, as adults, we start to become very safe in our behavior. We start to become very almost scared, of this judgment, because it's constantly going to shift our place in society, and this perceived notion of now I'm on a high, now I'm on a low, now I'm in good standing, now my status has fallen. And that's why you'll see, as people get older and older, they often get more and more worried about, log kya kahenge, what will people say, what will people think. Whereas when you're younger, you feel that a lot less. So you're at a very interesting point where, and I don't know if this is sort of personal to you as well, your question, where you can choose, to some extent, yes, we do need to fit in, but above all else, we are our essential selves, and we do need to give that expression as well. So my question for you is, how much do you want to fit in? How much do you want to be the authentic Muskan?
I feel like I want to be 100% authentic, but again, the like it just like I want that, but I don't know how to internalize that. You
So
know.
again, this is part of the learning process, right? One very simple cue is the things that you enjoyed doing as a younger child. Let that always be a part of you. If you were free thinking, if you loved going outdoors, make sure that that part is always alive within yourself. And we all learn. I mean, the socialization part, don't worry about that. That though somebody other will always be giving you instructions. Do this, do that, don't do that. What will people say? That though will always come. What you need to struggle to keep alive really is that part of yourself. So it could be something as simple as, I loved painting as a kid. One of the first things to fall away as we start to, get into the, and you're just about to enter the workforce, good luck with that. What an incredibly flux written, but also exciting, Muskaan. This is also a time where you can really reinvent the wheel, tap into that inner Muskaan and say, what do I want to bring that's truly original for the world? And what does the world need? And what does Muskaan need as well? We all have different needs. We need stability, we might need income, but we also need this expression. And without that, trust me, if when you try and suppress that, that's eventually what comes out as a midlife crisis when you're 40. So if you can just hold on to this recollection and don't just go with security, don't just go with I need money, I also need self-expression. If you learn that, and life is a balance, you won't always get it right. There will be some years where money will take more importance, there will be some years where family will take more importance, but as long as you remember that this is also important, self-expression, as you said, be your true self is also important. You can't go wrong.
Another thing that I want to ask is, how do you find the balance between like following your passion versus following like what you think is right? So if I know this is what I should be doing, it's right, but I have this constant tugging. But what if I really want to do this? I am like this. It's fine. Should I just be like this? That kind of a tug of war that goes, I think.
Yeah. I will answer that question a little indirectly. Let me say this, that there is a concept called swadharma, which is like your inner self, your inner calling. Okay. Now, a lot of us don't necessarily know, it may not be like this one thing that, oh, I must be a piano player and only a piano player. For a lot of us, it's not that clear, right? But we know essentially, and a little bit of self-analysis, if you just take a step back, and maybe this is something you and I can work on together later as well, just look at what are the things that make Muskaan happy to do, which you just enjoy doing. It's not that, like I'll give you an example. I like cleaning up a room only because I'll get a clean room at the end of it. I actually hate doing the cleaning up, but I'm waiting for the result, and I'm waiting to say, what a neat room finally, or somebody else will say, oh, Sandhya, what a great job you did. That's called a secondary motivation. Your primary motivations are the things which you do just for the joy of doing them. So it could be something quite difficult, right? It could be like writing a story, writing poetry, or it could be like solving a problem, or it could be volunteering. I know you do a lot of very many different things. Think about the things that you enjoy the process of doing. And if you give that a little bit of space in your life, it doesn't have to become your career. It doesn't have to become the thing that you do 24/7. But just giving it that little bit of space in your life can give you so much satisfaction. One. Two, if it becomes your career as well, following a career that gives space to who Muskaan truly is the kind of career that can take you to the pinnacle of your success. So say you're a very creative person and your parents forced you to do finance. Now, I know your parents are not like that and you're blessed that way. Finance, you can become pretty competent, but you can never become that Nobel Prize winning economist, because it's simply not your calling. It's not where you will see solutions. One of my teachers always said that there are millions of doctors, hundreds of thousands of doctors who are working for a cure for cancer. How is it that one person who comes up with something that's completely out of the box thinking, right? It's because they're living, they're breathing, they're seeing possibilities where none existed, because they're not blinkering their vision and they're in their complete flow, complete absorption. So yes, if we often restrict our goals with a false number, like I want to earn 1 crore or I want to buy a house, and I'm thinking to myself, really, is that the limit of your vision? What about saying that I want to solve a global crisis? I mean, you may not be as rich as 1 crore, but you will be 100x richer in terms of, and the funny thing is that 1 crore will become 10 crore on its own, because you're pursuing a goal which is much wider in impact. it's just the rule of the universe. You pursue something that is your passion, and you stick with it with consistency. Now once you pursue that passion, it's not going to be easy, right? You may have a boss who's not so great. You may have days, you may be in a line which is not so glamorous, which maybe, you may have to commute a lot, you may have to work very long hours, but you have that end game in sight, and you don't give in to your daily likes and dislikes. So when you reach that final, when you reach in that flow, not a final, I hope it's something that will continue for the rest of your life, then all of the other smaller things that we limit our goals by will also come. It's like a scientist who say he also nurtured a passion of traveling the world. Now, because
Yeah.
his findings have become so exciting for the whole world, he's being invited to speak in 20 different countries. So his personal wish of traveling the world has also come true in that. But that was a selfish desire. His more unselfish desire was to find a solution that helped the whole world, right? So it's a mix of both of those. Complex question, and I laud you for asking this question now, again, not at 45 when people suddenly stop and say, oh my god, what have I been doing my whole life? I just did these things because everybody said, this career will get you good money, and now I'm feeling like so
Yeah.
unfulfilled. And that's what happens, right? Without that sense of
That is something we
yeah.
struggle with a lot as like 20-year-olds, because we have to decide our careers, and we hear one of our friends has got this much of a package and someone's got that much of a package, and it's just like, should we be doing this creative field thing, or should we just go in for the money at this point? But yeah, I think long term, if you're in a job that's in a rut, like you're just day in and day night doing something you don't like, then I think that's sad.
Yeah. I will just add one other thing, that Muskan, at 20, it's okay to not know as well. And it's also okay to make changes, in my time, it was like, oh God, everybody did engineering, medicine, or if you didn't get into either law, which was me. I mean, not, I mean, I got into law, or I didn't, that's how the belief was. But the idea that you could do something outside of what is your initial education, what is your, so much of life is also trying different things, right? So many people have regrets saying, oh, I dreamt of starting a restaurant. You know what? At some point, you may not have the finances to start a restaurant, but go, by all means, take a month off, go work in a friend's restaurant. Actually trying it will also tell you whether this is for you or not. And that's also how we learn about what our true calling is, what our true dreams is, because sometimes the fantasy of it may be very different from the reality of it, right? And for that, you
Yeah.
do need to get your hands dirty. So go ahead, try different things, make some mistakes. This is your age to do it. The whole world is your oyster. So I encourage you to treat it like almost like a game, but with the thought that there is something that I would like to contribute. When you get that idea, then it doesn't become about just you, Muskan. And the advantage of that is then also that the petty politics, the day-to-day difficulties won't derail you. Because otherwise, then we're completely aimless. Every job will have some problem or the other. By what parameters do you then gauge, is this for me or not? You basically ask yourself, is this taking me towards the kind of person I want to be? Is this work exciting? Yes, there will be problems, but is the bigger picture exciting for me? And have fun.
That's really good advice.
More or less. It's a discovery. There's no straight answer for this, but I love that you're asking this question now. That's really the first step. So many people jump in blindly and hit a wall. So this is great that you're asking the question. I wish you
Yeah.
all the very best, and thank you so much for joining me on Heart to Heart today.
It's my pleasure. I had a lot of fun and a lot of great advice.
My pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. All the best, Muskan. Take care. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, do feel free to write into us at dynamiclivingindia@gmail.com, and do share this with somebody who has a similar question on their mind. Have a great day all. Bye-bye.